Every year on Labor Day we do a boys trip. We take a couple of trucks out in the middle of the desert, drive around fast as we can. Mostly the Donald boys. It's Nate's birthday. This is his kind of ritual that we try to get involved with him doing. So this is our first day. We got some driving and we end up doing. Try to stop into these little towns and check stuff out. Half of us leave from Vegas, and then we usually meet part of the group that comes down from Idaho. We meet in a town, usually have a breakfast and a drink, and then get acquainted again, and then get out on the trail. This is us meeting up. First day, everybody kind of finally showed up, so we're having lunch and getting everything rolling. Headed over to Kingston. Cool little bar, the Lucky Spur, that we seem like we have been to a couple of different times if we're in the area. It's always a really cool experience. Nice guy just bought this one, so. And then from there we headed out, start checking out mines and getting out into the dirt. First day is kind of a half day of driving, getting there, and then we do a kind of a half day of heading out on the trail and going and trying to find basically our first camping spot. So this is pretty much us leaving out of Kingston, out of the Lucky Spur, and making a couple stops, cruising out into the desert, trying to snuggle up into one of these little mountainsides and finding ourselves a camping spot to get ourselves kind of situated. So we're searching for camping spots now. All this stuff up here is pretty cool. If these guys hadn't kind of brought us along, this is definitely a side of Nevada I think that a lot of people have never done. Just being able to blaze up these sides of these mountains, rough terrain, and these really amazing trucks, and just being able to kind of hang out with a couple buddies. We basically do switch around in the trucks. We'll go from a lot of times we'll have the same driver, and then the passengers will pretty much just swap around. And sometimes we'll swap drivers too, but mostly the passengers will cruise around, and we get to experience everybody and just really have a good time hanging out with all people we don't get to see all that often.
There we go.
Well, I think we almost got air there. I don't know. Oh, I think how am I backwards? Oh shit, I'm backwards. I'm totally backwards.
You filming yourself?
Oh yeah, we are totally that. It doesn't take too long for us to start having a real good time, and we're already starting to feel pretty good at this point. Looking for our camping spot. We haven't been able to find it just yet, but just love hanging out with our boys. This is our first night camping spot. This one nestled up. It's a pretty cool spot. We flew the drone around a little bit. It was a really neat experience just hanging out here. much the way that we have these set up is we split up what we're bringing, but we pretty much shift around. Each different either person or team will one day somebody will cook breakfast, the next day somebody will do lunch, the next day somebody will do, or that night somebody will do dinner, and we swap on each of the next day. So that way we get to kind of experience what everybody's doing. This was pretty much the coolest. Everybody's super excited. I don't know how many times we went back and forth across this desert, but the boys had a blast trying to get these Raptors up to top speed. And we pretty much did. Crazy enough, they're all different. You would think they'd be dead on exact, but they're not. We topped out at 113 on John's. I think Jason and them got up to 118, but we did a soft pass, make sure that there was no ruts or anything crazy. There's a couple people camping that probably weren't real happy with us making all the dust, but we went back and forth across here a couple times, just make sure it was safe, and just had a real super cool experience. Me and with Justin now, we're cruising pretty much all over. Oh, and now I'm over with Antonio. He seems to be our leadfoot leader a lot of the times on here. He loves this Raptor, really looks up to this day, and just loves cruising across the desert. This is, I guess I would say this is his happy space. Back with John again. These freaking optics on these cameras on these trucks are amazing. Looking out the window, it looks kind of dusty. In visual, like in your eyeballs, it's like it seems like we can't see nothing. But through these cameras, they are just really amazingly clear. It was a pretty cool something. I just figured this camera would be worthless when in the dust, and it actually works really well. Is a pretty cool thing. This was us second day looking for a camping spot. Found this little mailbox up at the top. Excuse me. We made sure there was some people who left gifts in there. We made sure and found our fanciest beer, left it in there for somebody. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot and spoiled before somebody is able to maybe enjoy it. Super cool. It'd have been an awesome place to camp, but the top of these mountains are crazy windy. So we're jumping down there and you see me pointing there. We're gonna go back, and we passed some camping spots that were just awesome. Right here, Anthony went up this, or Antonio, I'm sorry, went up this thing. We've got a kind of a head-on shot. It didn't look that steep. It was super crazy. He kind of got stuck, but he wiggled around and he made it all the way to the top, flipped back around, and then came back down. It was pretty sketchy watching it. This is our day 2 camp spot. This thing was about as cool as they came. I think this was the best camp spot of the weekend. We had some trees. We set up lights. We had speakers all around, surround sound going. It was pretty cool.
All right, here's our camp spot for night 2. John's truck. Nice, super cool camping spot we found. Tents over here, right in the middle of the trees. John's, Antonio's truck. We got our kitchen all set up. We got our music going. We got surround sound up in the trees. Tents over here. Super cool setup.
Some of the boys, we brought some cot tents. Some of them just slept on the cots. I don't think this year we really couldn't have probably asked for better weather. It was absolutely perfect. Boys showing off their gear there.
We were up on the mountain was basically all the way up on the top of that mountain, way up over there. So there's a little bit of a trek to get down here. This is the trail that goes right beside us here. Keeps going up and then all the way up back up through that valley. So pretty cool little spot. We're excited. We're hoping we can have one more great night, another half day of trail riding, and then on our way back to Vegas. We're looking okay, but we're pretty rough. It's been a long 3 days. So we're just getting ready to leave camp. We're gonna head up over a mountain pass. If we got time, we're gonna do one more mountain pass and then on our way back down to Vegas. So day 3, leaving camp. It's gonna be pretty good. Again, it's gonna be our
Again, this is some stuff that you think about whenever we go up into these areas that you just wouldn't think you'd even see. And I'm from Colorado. We got just beautiful stuff everywhere, and in the desert there's just not. So when you come across this stuff, it almost just makes it just that much more impactful, I guess. It's just, you get all excited, you see water out of nowhere and you're like, oh, there's a stream, there's this, that, the trees, the aspens. It was just such a cool experience finding these little nooks and crannies in the desert, out of just out in the middle of nowhere. It's definitely one of the reasons we love coming up here and finding and exploring around all the stuff. Some of our guys coming from the other side over there. Yeah, this is a lot of this stuff isn't all high speed. We do a lot of exploring, and this is really some of the cool stuff. These trucks are so comfy, nice to hang out in, quiet, have conversations, listen to music. Really makes for just a great experience over a couple of days with the boys. This is basically our last day. We've got to cross over a couple different mountain ranges. get back over to our freeway where we can get headed back to Vegas. So there was a lot of it was a pretty good drive day, but it went relatively quick. We were cruising pretty good, but this was a really neat day. We saw some cool stuff, and just kind of putted around. This is aerial, like from the drone, pulled up on this like little mining settlement, what have you, like a processing plant and stuff. So this was probably the most buildings that I've seen out in the middle of the desert. I have no idea what this little area is called, but super cool. We were kind of in a rush, so we didn't get we probably could have just, if we'd have found this place, we could have camped here and just explored and hung out and walked around and looked at all the stuff for even longer. But obviously we found it a little late, and we had to kind of get on out and get back to the road and make our way home. So we had to cut this one a little bit shorter than we would have liked to. You'll see here I'm trying to do some kind of a crazy drone flying stuff, and I'm still pretty new, kind of sketchy, a little twitchy. As bad as this is, I have to admit this was probably my best video with the drone, trying to like get like a perspective of the area, but we'll, one of these days it might take a couple, 4 or 5 years, but one of these days we'll get good enough to where these are maybe a little bit smoother for everybody. And we're off again, just cruising around out in the middle of nowhere. So this is pretty much just us getting over to the other side. We still had a couple of pretty cool little spots where we had a bunch of water crossings, which was pretty neat, but overall this is our weekend's winding down. This last little part we got down in here, I don't think I recorded it, but we got into some pretty good stuff with some trees, which was nice. We had PPF.